Good afternoon here on Trading Within the Box here on April 16th, 2026 here. Thank you for watching, subscribing on my channel. This is Trading Within the Box, and this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any stocks, futures, equities, or any options. This is an educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional, and they will help you there. Okay, so let's go over some stocks today. So right here, back in April, what do we always say? 3 times of the year, when really the buying comes in, not exactly always exactly when you want it, exact dates, but around that time, that season, which is earnings season. And what is it? April 16th here. And what are we looking at? We're back in the game again here until we get some bad news. Let's see what happens here, okay? Because we do have a lot of overseas, interference here, so we don't know for sure. Now, why I say that is because look here. Look at the divergence in the volume. Does this really show you that they're committed to buying here? Does this really show? Now, this, to me, does not show that they're really, really buying in. They're moving the markets up, but look at the void in the volumes here. You have to be careful, okay? So that's what I'm saying here. This rally could be short-lived. Now, we don't know for sure. Now, on the S&P 500, we did make a new high, but are they going to pull this back? Now, way far away from these moving averages with low volume. Okay, so now let's look here. Now look at the divergence in the volume, like we said before, okay? Now, we had a gap up right here with a doji, and then followed by some buying. We had a ceiling, which was right in that sell area, right in that spot at 682.88, and then we came up and above. Now, we should pull back at one point here. We have to pull back to get another buy signal, okay? So that's something that we're going to continue to watch on the S&P 500. Now, let's look at the weekly chart. We're not at the end of the week yet, but look at the weekly chart here. We have 3 power bars right there, okay? So we came up really quick and really fast, okay? So we don't know exactly how far up we're going to go here, but because why? Because we're coming up. Look at the volume. Let's see if we kick in with more volume and we just keep going, okay? That's going to be very interesting to keep watching. Now, XLF, we have a lot to go over here. We're going to go over the XLF. We're going SMH with the semiconductors, small caps IWM, the Qs, Microsoft, Amazon, Caterpillar, Costco, Meta, NVDA, Tesla, silver, gold miners. We're going to go with uranium today. We're going to also look at the oil stocks and RTX, which is the defense stocks that we liked a lot, that are pulling back. Now, the RTX is pulling back. Okay, so let's go over to our XLF right now, and XLF is the bank stocks. That's the basket. And what does that show? Now, we always follow the banks because the banks is where the buying is, okay? And that's where the money's at, right? Okay, so we're coming down. We came down here with heavy volume on the banks. Okay, look at the volume here. Look at this, and then look at this area, okay? Now, when you go down and you're coming down here, okay, as you're coming up with weak volume, okay? But you're still in the sweet spot with the stochastic on the XLF, okay? So that's something that we're going to watch. Now, let's go over to SMH, which is the semiconductors. Now, the semiconductors made a new high, okay? Now, last week, okay? It closed right into resistance. Wanted to see if we're going to get follow-through or if we were going to get a pullback, and we get follow-through, okay? Let's see what happens as they continue. Now, this went up very quick over the last few weeks here, okay? Because we were sitting on support on the week of March 30th, okay? So let's go to IWM, because IWM always tells you that's 80% of the small businesses in the world, right? That we rely on. Okay, so as we come up, if we close higher this week, we'll be closing past. We want to get past the swing point high on January 20th, and that was 271.60. Okay, so coming up with lighter volume again. Just remember that, coming up with a little lighter volume. Okay, lighter volume. You got to be careful up there, up in that spot. Qs. Now look at the Qs. Now the 3 Qs. Look at this massive three drive pattern. Okay, so we're coming up into this area here, and let's see if we're going to close. Now, we're not done with the week yet, right? We're on Thursday here. Okay, so we want to see what's happened. 640.83 now for the Qs. Okay, which was a beautiful buy if you were down here. Okay, And they always try to scare you out right below that 50-day moving average. You think it's going to go down. And what do? You get some good news and then pop. Okay, now let's go to the stocks. MSFT, which is the all-world Microsoft. Okay, now with the all-world Microsoft, let's look at the weekly chart first. We're in the sweet spot. We came all the way to 367-ish, okay, in that area. Let's see. Let's go to the line chart. We have a beautiful W formation. Retest W. Come back. Come here. We have right side higher, and then boom. Now we're sitting in a resistance area. We're sitting in a small sell area, okay? So be careful right in that spot. Remember, that's on the weekly. Now let's go to the daily chart. On the daily chart, okay, here, today we got a little bit of a doji, but that's early in the day. So we don't have a candlestick close yet, okay? But what's happening here is as we're coming up into, we got up and above the swing point on the daily chart from March 6th. Now we're going after the swing point on February 10th, okay? Let's do a little volume analysis here, okay? Weekly, we can't use volume analysis yet because we didn't finish the week yet, okay? So right here, we're going into 44.86 million shares, okay? And that was obviously on February 10th. And then we're coming up with 45 million, okay? Let's see what happens today, which is pretty solid, okay? It's pretty solid. Should be getting up into 436.60 area. Now, once you get into 436.60, you have a gap down with heavy volume coming down, okay? So what always happens, and I always reiterate this, I always repeat this over and over and over. Here it is. Here's the skyscraper of volume. Bam, right there. What happens always when you have these massive volume sticks that stick out? They always gravitate back to the area, and there you are. You're almost there already, okay? So that's exactly what was happening. It's gravitating back to where all the shares were, right in that spot. So as of now, 436.60's game, okay? Well, we don't know for sure. Well, we always watch every day, and what do we watch? Watch on the 2-hour chart, because the 2-hour chart is going to tell you if they're buying or selling. Now, in the 2-hour chart, as you stretch this out, look at the sideways consolidation right here. Now, keep your eyes on the volume, okay? Keep your eyes. Now, the blue and the yellow here, don't really pay attention to that because that's the aftermarket and the pre-market, okay? So forget about that area. Now, when you come up here, you got good volume. Now you got follow-through volume here, okay? You got follow-through yesterday. Boom, right there on Microsoft. So you got follow-through volume, and now you go sideways right here, okay? So let's see what's going to happen here. If they're going to hold this, and then we're going to get another engulfing. Now, if it holds it and we get an engulfing, you know they're still buying. Okay, that's how you're going to know they're still buying Microsoft. And that's how you manage a trade. You could even manage a trade with lower time frames. I like to use a 2-hour chart because it gives you a little bit of an overall picture. Now, let's go over to Amazon. Okay, let's go back to the weekly chart because we always want to see what's happening first with the we want to get rid of the noise, okay? Now, on the Amazon, okay? Now, look at Amazon on the week of November 3rd, okay? This weekly chart. Each one of these candles represents 1 week, okay? Now, we have a high volume right there. We got a high of 258.60. Okay, now we're going into that now let's look at this volume, okay? On that week, we had 280 million, a little over 280 million shares. Now, going into that candlestick with 227. Now, this week, we already have 220, almost 223 million shares. Let's see what's going to happen when we tag that. When we get into that spot, we're going to probably tag it up at that 257-ish, 258 range. We're going to see. Now, if we blow it away, we got 270, 249 on us game, okay? Now, look at this gorgeous W formation here. Now, when you look at the weekly chart, look at this retest W. That's a beauty, okay? Now, when you get the retest W, which is on the weekly chart, which is a beautiful thing, you also have, you want to get past this mess right here, right in the middle of this W formation, okay? So, and you did. You have a velocity candlestick. Now, velocity candlesticks, you do have to be careful because straight ups usually go down right after, okay? But that could take weeks. You know, that's not exactly happening right now. Right now in the daily chart on Amazon, we're in resistance, which was 250.93, and now they're taking profits because you can see the dojis right up there. Okay, and taking profits in this spot, and I would too, and everybody else would that knows what they're doing would do the same thing. Now, as you go into the sideways consolidation on the 2-hour chart, because this is your monitor, this is the monitor for the day as you're managing your trade. Because let's say you were over in this spot right here, you got a sideways consolidation, and boom, over in the morning, very early in the morning, what were they doing? They were buying in. Okay, now we got to drift back. Okay, here, let's see. Now if we get another engulfing, boom, we're off to the races at 260.65. Okay, so that's not going to be a surprise to anyone, and we'll manage it on that chart. Okay, we go to Caterpillar. Let's go over to Caterpillar. Caterpillar, CAT. One of the best stocks in, I think, of the whole stock market, okay? Because a lot of overseas, right? Caterpillar does. They work a lot of overseas. Now, with a Caterpillar, okay, we do have earnings next week, okay, on the 20th. Now, watch Caterpillar, like, because this was an unbelievable locomotive. This is on a weekly chart. Every time it would pull back to the moving average, what would they do? Sideways consolidation, buy. Sideways consolidation, trading within the box. See the box right there, and then boom. Now you come in, and right here, look at this sideways consolidation with higher lows. We all knew it was going up, okay, right there. Okay, so with the great Caterpillar, which is just an amazing company, look at Caterpillar. Now, when you look at Caterpillar, you slammed into resistance at 661.89. Okay, 661.89. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something else from another screen. Around $800. Okay, and now we pull back. Now where are we? Now we come up with a surge of energy, and we come back with the volume. Now we want to hold. This is a very crucial spot to get back in, because everybody else says, "Oh well, I was up there. I got in and it went down." Okay, just wait for the pullback. Now we go to support. What do? Now we're looking to get back in it. Now we're below the moving average on the two. See where we're below the moving average on the 2-hour chart with selling volume right there. So we're just waiting because we got to drift back here. Okay, we start getting the trend change. Boom, we're back in. Okay, and that's all. That's what we're doing with this. Okay, now let's go over to Costco. Costco, a big dog on the retail block, right? And rightfully so. I mean, I did it right? Okay, so anyway, look at Costco. Now, I want to show you something with Costco here on a weekly chart, okay? Now, anytime you get these capitulation candlesticks right on a weekly chart, right there, one right there, and now if this week we get another capitulation, that's 3 in a row, okay? 2 in a row is 90% going up, okay? So we had 2 right here, and then what happened? Let's say you're saying right here we had 2, okay? We had a weak close, and then bam, what happened? Right there, right up to that 1030 something range, okay? We had a high of 1035.82, okay, last week. Okay, so that's a little something. Just wanted to show you that. It's a little trick in the book. And the daily chart. Now, as you go to the daily chart, we come off the volume, off the bottom here, and we're in resistance as we pulled back with Costco. Now, let's look at the line chart. We didn't get the retest yet. We may not even get a little, so we might get one of these and holds, and then boom. We have good volume here, okay? We had the little pullback. And then, what are we looking for? Let's go to what? How are we going to manage it? How am I going to know? I'm with resistance right here. I slammed into the 20-day moving average. I want no part of that right now. Okay. So what do? We break it down. We look under the hood. Okay. We have to look under the hood. Now, here. This right here is what they call a step up pattern. See it right here. Sideways. Boom. Sideways. Now, if we get this and we start to go sideways again, and we start going up, those are very strong. We start to get volume that looks like this or more. Those are very strong. The only reason why the profits were taken because you slammed right into the 200-day moving average on the 2-hour chart. And the 50-day moving average slammed right into it, and you're going to pull back. Now you're at a major support area right here, okay, right in this spot right here, okay. And then people are asking, where is that spot? Right here at 984, 985. You're in it right now. So that's what you're waiting for on Costco. You're waiting for the re-entry, okay? And you manage it on your own, okay? You have a reversal candlestick here today. So if this closes here, we could, see we can get another retest W here, okay? And then boom, we get the engulfing, and then always watch your weekly chart because you want to know where you are. Now you're not up there in resistance. You were down in support right here at that 972 range, okay? So, and you're at support on the small time frames, okay? So, but you got the 3 buy signals right there, okay? So let's see what they do with Costco. This could be a sideways consolidation for a little while by the weeks, okay? It could be going into a sideways consolidation, okay? Now on Meta, Facebook. Let's go over Facebook, Meta. Now with Meta, let's go over to the weekly chart. Okay, on the weekly chart right here, again, we get those 3 candlesticks, those big candlesticks. Okay, let's see what the volume connects with next week. At the end of this week, I mean, okay? As we're going into the swing point of the week of January 26th, which we had a high of $744. Now we're also we are right in the candlestick of the week of October 27th with a lot of volume coming down. So let's see how it's going to handle that. If we close within this candlestick, okay, we want to see how that volume is going to do. Can it get into that range with lighter volume, okay? How we're going to know is they can move it up with lighter volume, but right now you're slamming into the 200-day moving average, which is a ton of bricks on the daily chart, okay? And then we should get a little bit of a pullback, and then let's see when they retest into that range, okay? Let's see what happens. Now, we do have that step pattern, which is very, very strong on a daily chart. There's a step. We get a gap up right in this spot. That's a gap right there. We got a sideways consolidation. That's the next step. Now, if we get another step, that's very strong, okay? Now, the selling volume is small right here, and the buying volume, but it is decreasing, okay? You got a divergence in volume as your stock is going up. So let's see what happens if they're going to pull this back. How are you going to know? Again, what do? Go over the 2-hour chart. That's what we do. We go to the 2-hour chart, okay? Let's go over to NVDA, okay, NVIDIA Corporation. Now, in NVIDIA, you were down all the way down here on the weekly chart. There's a weekly chart right here. On the week of March 30th, you had a low of 164.27. So look how this rebounded. And we kind of knew because as the market was falling back, this was holding very, very strong, okay? It held the 50-day moving average. We had the buy signal come in, and now we're coming into the week of November 3rd. Okay, so let's look at the volume as we came down, because we're already into this candlestick here, into November 3rd's candlestick. 1.03 billion shares coming down, okay? Coming up with 739 million right now. Now, remember, you still have today and tomorrow, okay? But let's see what kind of volume we're going to get here coming into this range. Now, if we get lighter volume, we test it, we'll probably get a little bit of a pullback, okay? Because we'll have a double top up here, okay, on NVIDIA. Now, with NVIDIA, let's go to daily chart. What's going on here? Now, we are going to pull back here. We got right into resistance at $200.46. So get that little pullback coming. And then on the 2-hour chart, we got a sideways consolidation. Now, here we go. Now, this could be, excuse me with the allergies. Watch this. Now, sideways consolidation. We got buying in right here. Okay, you look at the volume. Look at the volume here. Now, I have a little bit of a rest. Look at the volume here. Now, we want to, let's say we hold this area, and then boom, we break this area. All the short sellers right here are going to do what? They're going to switch, turn around, and go up. Okay? So that's something that you're going to continue to watch as we're moving up with NVIDIA. Remember, we should get that little pullback because we're way far away from the moving average, and we're right into resistance. So let's see what happens when we or it just holds and then we just take off again. It could hold sideways for a little bit. Then what happens is the moving averages will catch up sideways, then bam, and those are the best because those really, really do well. Okay, that means they're not selling it off. Okay, and it was so strong during the pullback. Okay, during our little small correction that we had going on over there. Okay, since what was it, January? So Tesla, the big dog on the block. Now with Tesla, look at this. Look where you were. Now on December 22nd, the week of December 22nd, you had a high of 498.83. So if you're in this stock, you're happy because you're recovering here. Okay. Now we came down. We're going into this area here. Let's do volume analysis on the week of November 17th. Almost 469 million shares. Okay. Now we're coming up with 383 as of this. As of today, we can't really finish that off because we don't know. What we want to do is with Tesla is we want to get this little pullback. We want to get this come up maybe here, pull back here. We get the W on the weekly. The weekly starts moving up, and then boom, and we got a trend change. Okay, that's what we're looking for with Tesla. Okay, now with Tesla, okay, let's go to the daily chart. Where are we? Now, always remember the 200-day moving average. What happens when you slam into it? The hedge funds, they're going to take their money up in this area because they know the retail traders, they're both buying in this spot. Where are the retail traders buying? They're buying right up here. The hedge funds are buying right at the support line. Okay? They're buying in this spot right here at 343. They're not buying in this spot, okay, right now. Now, how you know is you go to the 2-hour chart. And then what do you know? You know that your volume's tapering off, okay? Your volume's starting to taper off. You're in resistance, and now you're going to a support level at 381.78, okay? So just keep watching. You could always go to a lower time frame. If you want to go to a 30-minute chart, you could always see that right now they're not supporting it on the 2-hour chart, okay? On a 30-minute chart. But look at the volume where it's going into. Now you're pulling back here on a 30-minute chart with a lot lighter volume. Okay, and you're going into this spot right here. So that's solid for it to stay in that area. Okay, unless you were having a lot more volume coming down, but they could always move it down with lighter volume too. Okay, so let's see, that's pretty solid up in that spot right now. But then again, you know that you have overhead pressure at 398.22. You also have pressure right in this spot where you are right now at 388.30. Okay, so now I want to go over silver really fast, SLV. And let's go over silver. Now, silver had the big pullback, right? We were all waiting for it, okay, on silver, okay? And silver, remember what I always told everybody, and I'll go over it 1,000 times. Look at this candlestick right here, okay? And look at this volume, okay? When you get those skyscraper volume sticks, especially on the weekly chart, they will gravitate back up to this area in this $100 range, okay? I'm not saying you won't get pullbacks before then or maybe a little drop before it for a little correction, but what's happening now? Look at the weekly chart on silver. Now, what do you see? And a lot of people were telling me they see that there's a lot less volume now. Look at the volume void, okay? There's a void, right? And the volume right here in that area. Now you're coming down with massive amount of selling. You're going up into that selling with nothing. Okay, you pull back with very light volume, which is good because they're kind of drifting it back. Okay, you hit a support area, and what do? They come back in. Now you're coming back in with even lighter volume over the last 3 weeks. Okay, so be very careful. They don't come in and slap you down, okay? Be careful. You'll know. But if you're watching, you got to be watching closely. Always watch closely because if you're not watching close, now here's another indication of weakness, okay? Like I said, they can keep moving it up. It's not. There's nothing that could stop them from doing that. But what happens is when you start going up like this, and you go up this few days, come back down. You come back with these little dojis, and you come back with a little bit and keep coming back. Very short-lived, boom, you could always drop, okay? So how you will know is you'll look again on the 2-hour chart, and you'll see if there's going to be a change. Now, as of now, there's very light volume in this area for selling, okay? There's very light volume. So this thing could hold sideways and go back up and gap up to 74.13. Okay, let's see what they're going to do. There was some buying on April 14th, okay, as they were coming in, okay? So silver, let's look at a monthly chart, because we want to go through this in detail. We want to be very careful with this, okay? So silver, when it touched the 9-day moving average on the monthly chart, they bought right off of it, okay? So let's see what happens here on the monthly chart when we end this month, okay? Let's go straight over to GDX, which is the gold miners. We only have a few left here. We're into this video about 25 minutes already. So let's go over to gold miners. Now, gold miners, look at same type of thing, okay? We got that high volume bar, okay, on the week of January 26th. We came back up and we failed, okay? Now we're coming up again with lighter volume. Now let's see if this is going to be a downtrend or if they're going to try to move this up. Let's see if this could come back again. Now, if this comes back and it holds higher and we get the buying, we're off again to the races with the gold miners. That's what will happen if that happens, okay? On a daily chart, again, we have dojis right up in this area. We have a little cluster of dojis. So we got some weakness up in this spot. Let's see what they do in that area. Okay, now let's go over to UEC, which is the uranium. Okay. Now with uranium, we had some beautiful buys down here, right at 1231. Then it came back again to 1262. Then it pushed up a little higher, kept pushed up a little higher, then it pushed up a little higher. Okay, let's see what happens. Now on the weekly chart with uranium, look at this. I want to show you this. Now, this is, again, the retest W. Now, on the retest W, look at this. Holds, and then we start heading up. We're in a sweet spot on uranium with good volume this week, okay? Okay? So, again, let's keep watching this on a 2-hour chart, and we'll see the volume as we keep trending up here, okay? Remember, we want to be careful with the 4 peaks, okay? We got 1, we got 2 right now, okay? So that's when you'll know you'll take your profits in that area, okay? Let's go back to the weekly chart, and let's go over to XOM, which is ExxonMobil. And with ExxonMobil, okay, you obviously knew what was going on with the news overseas, with the oil and all that stuff. Look at this now. We're sitting at a major support area, okay? So we have we got a weekly chart heading down, okay? We don't know yet because we haven't finished the week yet. But let's go to the daily chart and let's see. Now they're not supporting it, the oil right now, okay? Right now, of course, we know what's happening. So right now we have 1 peak, 2 peaks. We were into the 3rd peak here. So let's see if they're going to take this down a little further, okay? Let's go over to RTX, which is the defense stocks. On RTX now remember what we were talking about RTX when we started going, we were like in this area somewhere, and we started going all the way up, and we were in the 190s, and we went all the way up, and we did videos on that as we were trending up, okay, with RTX, and as we were holding, remember? Now, with RTX, let's look at the weekly chart, okay? Now, with the weekly chart on RTX, look at this. Now, we got a W formation, a retest W here. Now, we want to see if this is going to hold and then start breaking up again. So, you got to be careful here, because imagine this, okay? You come down, you come up, now you come down. Now, if we hold this area, which is the 20-day moving average, on the weekly chart, and we get an engulfing, and we start getting volume kicking in here, we're going to test this top again, okay? Now, it could go the other way. Obviously, anything could happen at any time, but how you're going to know is right here. Now, they are selling, because we just made a new low now here today on RTH. So we're still coming back right now. And right now, with RTH, where we had a sideways consult, we had the step down pattern. See the step, then break, step, then break, and we have a lot of volume. Okay, so we're getting a pullback here, okay, on RTH. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. You'll see it right here, but you don't know how far of a pullback we're getting. That's why we have to really watch closely on RTH. Okay, we're going to really watch very closely on RTH. Now, also the daily chart, okay, on RTH coming down with a lot of volume. Now look at yesterday's volume, 4.42 million shares. Okay, we're coming into those areas with 2.3, and then we have a little pressure right here at 192, 191 in that range for possible, bounce again. Okay. With that said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for coming. Please like, subscribe on my channel if you'd like the content. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and happy trading.